Vegas. How y'all doing today? Leah, how you doing today?
Good morning. I am amazing. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I am super fantastic. I have no complaints.
Well, I know it's the end of the month. It's the end of August. We are now 2 years past COVID, and all the stuff is getting real because PPP loans need to be forgiven. If you haven't forgiven your PPP loan, do your application as a business owner. Do your application because I think under $150,000 you have to just go and apply.
That's all you have to do.
They're not asking for the documents.
Asking for anything at this point.
At this point, they're not asking. But keep your documents because we had shows earlier where we were talking about the documents. Keep your documents. Keep them. I would keep them in electronic form and hard copies.
Absolutely.
So that way, if anything happens, you have the documents that say how you spent those PPP dollars. And remember, there were requirements for how you had to spend those dollars. So just make sure that you have your documents electronically, paper copy, because if you're ever asked the question, I believe it's 10 years, 7 or 10 years?
7. I think it's 7. They have 7 years to come back and ask you, if they need to ask you
how you spent the funds. So keep those documents, keep them handy, and then from my understanding, look out in your emails because if you got idle money, SBA is sending out emails letting you know that it's almost time for your payments if you haven't been repaying that loan. And it's on the SBA site. Idle is not forgivable. That's the economic injury disaster loan. It's not forgivable. And you will have to repay it. So I would check your emails like we were checking them during the beginning of the pandemic. Check your emails because there are steps that you have to take in order to get into the portal to repay the loan because it's not just you write a check to the SBA. No, there's a portal that you have to go through that will list your loan number, the actual loan amount, and the payment. Everything is in a portal. Please check your emails.
Yeah, check your junk email box. Because remember, like we told you before, people were getting emails and they didn't even know it. It was going directly to their junk email box.
So check your email, open your mail when you see stuff. And we just want to say this because we don't want you to get caught in, well, I didn't know. You heard it here. If you know someone that possibly has gotten the idle loan, tell them, check their emails. Everything is done electronically, not done through the U.S. mail. If you know that it's about time for you to start repaying, check your email.
Yes, and we're getting to that point because I know they extended it. They gave more money, but now the chicken has come to roost. It is now time to pay.
It is now time to pay. It's now time to pay. And again, check your email and follow the instructions because it's a few steps you have to do to create an account, to go ahead and start the repayment process because it's not through the SBA. They have another portal that actually collects the payments.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Another portal that collects the payments. And it will list your idle loan. It will list your PPP loan. Another way to verify if your PPP loan has been forgiven, because in that portal it also states your PPP loan, the amount, and if it was forgiven or not.
Oh, wow.
So everything is in this portal, but you have to get the email, and I can look for the email. You have to get the email and then follow the steps in the email. Take your time, write down username and password because you will need that username and password. Maybe even save the website that you had to go to in order to get to the login so that you can go ahead and start to repay these loans.
Yeah, it's that time.
So what else is going on?
You want to tell them about that, the money that's available for people who have 5 or more employees, W-2 employees?
Actually, Urban Chamber just sent out an email about that. Economic, it's ERTC, Employee Retention Tax Credit. So if you have 5 or more employees, I would go to the Urban Chamber site, or you can contact the Urban Chamber at 702-648-6222. Again, 702-648-6222. They actually sent out email and a Twitter message about the employee, the ERTC credit.
Right.
So
and
I
again,
would call them and get more information.
This is only for people who actually have 5 or more employees that they W-2. not 1099. If you have a small business and you have consultants and you're 1099 in them, they are not your employees. You do not qualify. These are for real people with real businesses that have W-2 employees and have had W-2 employees for the last couple of years.
Last couple of years. But more about it, you can even Google ERTC, look it up to see if, and it's 5 or more employees. And like Rhonda said, not 1099 contractors, not the non-employee compensation. It is the actual W-2 employees.
That's right.
Okay, so what else is going on, Ron? I know you got a lot of events coming up.
Oh boy, there's so many. We talked about this once before. People, it's election time. And there are a lot of different folks running for a lot of different seats. And those folks are in the neighborhood meeting and greeting. They want to talk to you. They want to hear from you. If there are some situations you need help with, they want to hear what those problems are and help guide you to the right person who could possibly help you.
So why as an entrepreneur is it important for me to know to be involved in politics?
You have to be involved in politics because the decisions that are made on your behalf, your legislatures are making decisions that affect you and your family. So you have to be aware of what's going on.
Right. So you need to, cause your business licenses.
That's right.
The license that you have to have per jurisdiction.
Correct.
Just different things you have to do. Those decisions are made by the legislature.
That's right.
By the state. And we have a whole bunch of elections going on in November. So if I'm not mistaken, North Las Vegas mayor, that's going to be a historical race.
It's going to be a historical race.
Mm-hmm. That race. You have your assembly. They are running. Just knowing where your business is and who you need to vote for. Guys, we got to get out and vote. We have to get out and vote. We have to make, this midterm election count.
That's right. I know people are saying, you guys say that every time it's election. No, but it's the truth. You have to get out and vote each and every time. These are the things that our forefathers fought for us for. These are the things that our people in the past marched for. Martin Luther King Jr. marched for the right, for you to have the right to vote and be heard and be seen. So you have to use it.
You have to use it. Well, you want to use it. You want to use it because I think in one of our last shows we talked about the fact that 200 years ago you had to be white male property owner.
That's right.
In order to vote.
That's right.
And that's not the case now.
That's not the case
now. And we are not exercising our right to vote.
That's right.
And it's a right.
And if you are a felon, whether it's you've had 1, 2, or 3 felons, you have the right to vote. I don't know if anybody told you. I don't know if you heard about it. But if you have a felony, you have the right to vote. You can register to vote and be part of the November 8th election. Is that the right date, November 8th? I hope so.
I hope so too, because you just spit out the date. I was like, okay, I just know it's the second.
Looking at my calendar.
I know, it's the second Tuesday in November. I do know that. It's the second Tuesday in November.
But yes, felons, you have the right to vote. And it doesn't matter if you have it is the 8th. I was right. It doesn't matter if you have 1 felony, 2 felonies, or 3, whatever the number is. You have the right to vote in the state of Nevada.
In the state of Nevada. So I would register to vote. I would find out what politician is working for the rights of the rights of prisoners.
That's right.
And just figure out what laws are out there, what's going on, and it's Googleable.
It is.
And just listen to Power 88 because I know there are a lot of people that come on and talk about a lot of interesting things. And I'm sure as we get closer to the election and some of the candidates running for office are invited to the station, they will talk about it. Ask them the questions. Ask them what you want to know.
Yeah, like I said, the candidates are out there. Like, for example, there's going to be a meet and greet at Marble Manor next Monday night, and there are going to be several candidates there for you to meet and talk to. And that will take place at 6 p.m. next week. So that's on the website too. Also, there's if you don't know who your people are and you don't understand, what jobs they do, what they have to take care of, there's another event happening this Saturday for the more mature voter. If you're a mature voter and you've just moved from California or somewhere else and you don't know who your commissioner is, or who anybody is, who your senators are, these are events you can come to and meet these folks and talk to them and find out, what they're all about. And so that's happening this week also. But yeah, lots of things going on, Keep up with social media because, all these events show up on social media.
On all social media platforms?
On all social media platforms.
So Facebook,
Instagram.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok maybe too.
All that fun stuff. And hey, if you're not busy, Labor Day weekend, if you're not going out of town to visit family, our Congressman Stephen Horsford is having a barbecue at Craig Ranch from 3 to 7 o'clock for you to come out and talk to him and talk to other candidates. Again, there's so many different forums and places for you to go to actually meet these people face to face, shake their hand, look them in the eye, and ask them any questions you want to ask them.
But it is important for you to get out there and exercise your right to vote.
That's right.
Your right to vote. Also tax season. If you have, you set up a corporation, LLC, and you have more than one member, or you did an S Corp election, you have a deadline coming up, September 15th. So September 15th is the extension for year-end filers. So if you have set up a LLC, you have, and you have a, S Corp election, or you are a multi-member LLC, or you have a C Corp, September 15th is your deadline date. September 15th is your deadline date if you have a year in. Because you had to file the extension by March 15th. I know I talked about it on several shows because the penalties are real when you just don't do the necessary paperwork and file the extension. But the due date is September 15th. September 15th. Also, for those of you that have employees, again, the forms, and we'll talk about this over and over again because we want you to understand when you have employees, there are certain requirements outside of just paying them their weekly paycheck. Mm-hmm. Because you're taking taxes out of their check, right? And by you taking taxes out of their check, you have to remit that to the IRS. And you have to know whether or not you are a 3-day filer, a monthly filer, a quarterly filer. And the IRS will let you know based off of the amount of your deposit what type of filer you are. But you have to remit those funds to the IRS because once you remit them, you have to reconcile them on a quarterly basis with Form 941. Those forms are due quarterly. And I like to talk about it, and I will talk about it in depth next week, because I think as an entrepreneur, we don't know always what we don't know. We just think that, okay, we give them a paycheck, take taxes out, but then what do I do next? Best practices is if you don't know, hire a payroll company.
That's right.
Hire somebody that's their business, that's what they do, because the penalty for not filing one of those forms, the penalty for not remitting those taxes is huge. And it's probably one of the most expensive penalties there is, especially when they talk about a trust fund recovery penalty. And I've seen businesses go out of business behind payroll taxes. So you want to get in step, because I know we got a lot of new entrepreneurs out there that are looking to grow and expand their business. And in your business plan, you have employees.
That's right.
So also in the plan, talk about how are we remitting the taxes, making sure that the forms are filed timely, making sure that we are just in compliance, and it's just a little bit different budget, but you can do it. But just know that as an entrepreneur, several aspects of your business, human capital is a huge one. I think we need to bring an HR professional on here.
Absolutely. And I think also small businesses, when we talk about banking, just brought up something, people have more than one account. So you may have one account that's just for payroll, right?
You should.
It's one account is just for payroll. If you're using a payroll company, that payroll company has access to it to help make sure that your bills are being paid. Your payroll is being paid. Then you should have a separate account, for your marketing, and your sales. But you should have more than one bank account so that those funds are not commingled and you always know where you are.
It's sometimes complicated though.
I know.
I can say that. But being an entrepreneur, you got to know how to work through it. I know we talked about a system that I've been using in my business called Profit First. And in that system, it talks about having multiple bank accounts and what do you do with the multiple bank accounts. And payroll is always an account that you want to have separate because you want to monitor to make sure that the IRS deposits are being taken out. That's why I like using payroll companies. Because payroll companies, when you run your payroll, they take the taxes out for everything. And then they remit them timely to the different agencies, because in Nevada, not only do we have to pay the IRS, right, but then we have to pay Department of Employee Services. Then we also have to pay, depending on what your payroll is, a modified business tax. And as an entrepreneur, you might not know the rules, when limits change, you got to pay a few to tax at the end of the year. You might not know that, but the payroll company does.
They sure do.
And they'll make sure that that stuff is being done on a timely manner. And if it's not done, you have someone to hold accountable for it. Just being aware. So and it's not expensive.
It's not expensive, not at all. And there's many options. You know, there are many options. There are many different companies. And actually, I believe Bank of America has a small business program where they do their payroll for you. They have an account where you can use your payroll, and they handle all of that. So yes, it's many different options. But yeah, make sure you're on top of that, because that's all about taking care of your business.
All about taking care of your business, and it's several different aspects, because that's the human capital part. Just making sure that you have everything in place with the human capital. The human capital. The other side too, we always talk about marketing. Always get to marketing, and depending on what business you're in will determine how much or how you market, right?
That's right.
So what do you think? I mean, I'm a new business. I just started. I have no clue of how to get the word about my business out there. What do I do?
First of all, you need to have a marketing plan, and you need to have a business plan, which includes forecasting. You have a marketing plan, and typically what businesses do is they forecast how much money they want to make for the next 5 years. They look at that number, that yearly number, and they take 20% of that number, and that is their marketing and advertising budget.
Okay, but if I'm starting off at 0, then the number's 0. So then what do I do?
Then you need to figure out how to get on your social media pages and sell yourself and your business.
Sell yourself. Okay, but you can start off inexpensively.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you have a small business and you don't have a really big budget, depending upon what it is you're selling, you can bring awareness to yourself and your brand, on social media. And it's very, cost effective.
Very cost effective. And then once you start bringing the money in, because with the business plan, what I do like is that with most of them, it will list out how much money you need to actually start your business. And that's your cash injection. So you can talk to a marketing person and figure out how much it would be to get your logo, business cards, people that still use business cards, website, see how much that stuff is, so that when you launch, you have a way, but you need to have a budget for that.
Exactly.
And you need to know, how much is it going to cost you before the money comes in.
Right.
Okay. So that's how much your injection is. And when you talk about forecasting, read about it. Understand what forecasting is. Forecasting is a projection of what you think what you might do. It's not necessarily what you're going to do.
Right.
Because you can do better. I know as entrepreneurs, we have rose-colored glasses. We think it's going to be fabulous. But sometimes it's not. But what do you do, and what expenses, you have to monitor financially what's going on in your business, right? So that you can see how the cash is flowing in your business, so you can make decisions about what it is that you're doing. You have to know what marketing techniques are working. Because just because you did it doesn't mean that it's working.
That's right.
So you have to find a way to monitor that as an entrepreneur. And sometimes working with professionals can help you to learn that. Because you're always, what I can say, I've been in business now for 15 years and I still learn something all the time.
Every day. Really, we all should be learning something new every day. We should all be learning and growing. I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything. I want to know a lot of stuff. I don't want to know everything, and I always want to grow and learn.
But you want to know what I realized too, Rhonda? The more I learn, the more I realize I didn't know.
All day long.
So the more I learn, the more humble I become. Especially dealing in accounting, because accounting is my specialty. And the more I learn, and you just think, how many things can you do with a number? Well, it's a lot. How many things can you do with a financial statement? It's a lot. And just understanding the different financial statements and how imperative they are for you to understand as an entrepreneur when you're running your business. Like we always talk about the profit and loss statement or the balance sheet, but we don't talk about the statement of cash flows. And we don't talk about just how your money is flowing through your business and what impact that has on you as a business owner. So just having healthy conversations regularly with people, with entrepreneurs. And then with entrepreneurs, it's sometimes hard for us because we want to work with people that we can trust.
Right.
Because we're talking about some intimate things, our marketing, just being vulnerable and knowing, okay, I might not have the right clothes on. How do I talk to someone and I don't feel necessarily the best about myself?
Right.
But I need to get out there and I need to market.
You need to market yourself. You need to join other organizations where other business people are part of them. Yes, we always stress join your chambers. That's the first place you should join is join a particular chamber.
But be active.
But be active when you join. Don't just join and send in your check. Actually come to the meetings, get to know the other people, come out and market yourself and your brand, because that's what they're there for.
That's what they're there for.
Other business people are going to help you faster than non-business people.
They do. And I love the Urban Chamber of Commerce, because shout out to Delisa, because Delisa's done an amazing job of just making the chamber relevant and just doing different things, spotlighting new businesses. Right now she's getting ready to do a Ducks in a Row series. And what that is it's a series, for people that don't know what they don't know. So I know for me, I attend a lot of classes, and I go because there might be something new that's out there.
Right.
A different way to think about how I do my business. A different way to become, some of us are entrepreneurs. How do you go from being an entrepreneur to actually being the business owner? Meaning that the business, in simple terms, the business operates whether I'm there or not.
Correct.
Outside of me. And not that I have to touch everything. I'm aware of what's going on, but the office is open, work is still getting done. I'm also working, but then I'm basically growing the business smartly.
Right.
Because businesses fail traditionally in the beginning and in growth.
Yep.
So you have to also grow strategically. Just knowing what you can do, doing a budget, having a plan, what's the marketing, and sometimes it's grueling.
It is. But you have to do it. You have to do it. This month I joined 3 new organizations outside of the chamber here in Las Vegas, just so I could extend my brand, extend my services to people who didn't even know I existed. And as soon as I joined and said, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, how can we help you? How can we help you? And what I love about it is even when I go to an urban chamber meeting, I touch base with somebody in there and I do business with them right away. Like every time I go, somebody has gotten business from me. So that's what it's all about.
So you got to network.
Got to network.
And you got to perform.
You got to perform.
So if you say that I can deliver you 10 widgets.
Right.
Guess what? You got to deliver 10 widgets.
That's right.
On time.
That's right.
On time. So it's about knowing your business, knowing what you can do, and just doing it. Do the work.
Especially if you love it.
But you want to know what though? That's why you become an entrepreneur, because the hope is that you are doing something that you love.
Right.
So it's really not work. And you enjoy it because that's what you talk about. That's what you're doing. That's what you enjoy. I know as crazy as it sounds, I like accounting. I like tax.
Right.
I enjoy it. And sometimes I giggle to myself when I look at the forms. I'm like, oh my God, so they put that on there this year. That's cute. Okay. And just have a different, just affair with it. And even when clients come in and like, well, I deal with a lot of people that are scared because the IRS is very intimidating.
Yes.
And I'm not intimidated by them. It's like, okay, if you get a letter, open it up.
Right.
Let's see what they say. And then let's respond.
Right.
Let's speak and respond.
You're right.
And then once we respond, they gotta respond back.
Right. Those letters are very intimidating. I fully understand. So I'll give you, for example. So if you make a payment plan with the IRS, they send you an email every month saying, okay, your $5 is due. Well, let me tell you what I did. I went in and paid off my balance in full. Like I paid it off early. However, when I went to pay it, I put in the wrong tax year. So it wasn't coming up that I paid it for that tax year. So they kept sending me nasty messages saying, hey, where's your money? We're getting ready to cut you off. And I kept saying, hey, wait a minute, I've already paid you. Then when I went back and looked at my records, I realized I gave them the wrong tax year. So then I had to send them a note. Listen, I have already paid this balance in full. Unfortunately, I paid the wrong tax date. I did call the IRS and make them aware that I picked the wrong year, but they told me it was going to take 6 months before they could fix it to say that it was actually the year it was supposed to be. Well, after they did that, after I sent them the letter, and showing them my receipt, always keep your receipts. I had my receipt of my payment. I said, listen, here's the receipt of my payment. I'm so sorry I picked the wrong year, but this bill has been paid in full. I stopped hearing from them. Because at the end of the day, they just want their money. Period.
They want their money, but you responded.
But I responded. Exactly.
So you opened the letter. And you didn't just take it as a suggestion.
Right.
So you opened the letter, you read the letter, you went back and did the research to see what you did, and it was a error, but it was paid.
Exactly.
And when you sent them the letter, now in our office, what we're able to do is, because we get the POAs, we go in and resolve that right away.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with when we deal with the agents,
mm-hmm.
we go in and we resolve stuff like that right away.
Mm-hmm.
But we also tell our clients, make sure when you're paying that you select the correct year.
That's right.
That you select the correct year and tax type.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to know what tax you're paying.
Right.
In order for them to process it, for it to go up, for it to be allocated against the proper year.
Exactly.
But just knowing those details, paying attention to those details is very important. And as a business owner, you'll learn that the devil is in the details.
They sure are.
Just read stuff, and trust that for me, when I get stuff, I have people in my office, okay, let's read this together.
Right.
Like we're in second grade. So it's like, let's read this together. And okay, so Jen, what did you get from this? Brenda, what did you get from this?
Right.
So that we can have a conversation and make sure that I'm not interpreting something the incorrect way.
Right, because we interpret things differently as human beings. A person can give us a message and we can interpret it 2 or 3 different ways.
But I like to have all 3 interpretations, because it might, when I look at it again, oh, okay.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so that's got it. All right, so now I know how to respond, but being a business owner and just having people around you that you can converse with that are going to give you different viewpoints. That's why it's important to have a mentor, again, somebody you can trust.
That's right.
To have a coach, again, someone you can trust as a business owner, and also being in different groups around people that you can trust.
And learn from.
Well,
you've been listening to Let's Talk with Leah and Rhonda.
I'm Leah Crawford.
I'm Rhonda Nolan, and we have had the pleasure of speaking with you today. We've had fun with you, and we will be back next week, won't we, Leah?
Yeah, we will be back next week.
That's fantastic. Well, Las Vegas, thanks so much for listening, and we will see you next Wednesday.